We went on a date, but it was sort of strange. I mean, we've known each other since we were 3, so it was hard to think about it going anywhere.
So? Do you like him?
With Mom gone, I can't even think about that.
Does Mom being gone stop you from having relationships with other people? Because, look, I know I'm not always responding to this stuff in the best way, but neither are you.
It doesn't stop me. It just limits things.
Lena, you should think about what you're going to do if you can't ever find the answer you want.
Coming from you, that was actually really smart.
All right. Keep your chin up. And try to think about something else. Kittens, puppies, cute boys, whatever.
Hey, Violet. Would you know anything about how to get into Dad's office?
Look, I can't just tell you how to break in. That goes against my principles.
Your principles?
Yeah, honor among thieves. Or something. Go talk to Merle about it, okay?
I found this.
You went through my drawers? You bitch!
Excuse me?
What, did you think I was just going to roll over and be all, "Oh, Lena, I'm so sorry. Don't tell on me, please."
I thought you'd take it better than this.
Well, you made a mistake then, didn't you?
Okay, let's try this again. I didn't want to make you angry, and I'm not going to tell anyone or try to get you punished. I'm just worried about you.
All right. I appreciate that. But before I say anything else, will you tell me why you were snooping through my stuff?
I was looking for answers about Mom.
And you thought you'd find those in my desk because...
They could be anywhere.
You're crazy. Joking. Mostly.
Okay, I'm sorry. I think you get that. Are we good now? Will you tell me how you managed to get your hands on this?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry, I wasn't really angry, just surprised. My friend Sophie's older brother bought it for me. He charged me $30. It probably wasn't worth that much, but I wanted some.
You just wanted some because...
Say whatever you want, but I like the feeling of being buzzed. It takes the edge off all the other things I'm thinking. And when I play the violin that way, I sound different, freer.
When did you start doing this?
The consumption of illegal substances thing, you mean? Sophie first let me try a few beers last March, but I didn't like them very much. Then one night, we were out in the park last summer. Maddie pulled a water bottle of vodka out of her bag. It was disgusting. We didn't realize we were supposed to mix it with anything, but man, that feeling, that hot burn on the back of the throat, I liked that. After that, we figured out that Sophie's brother would slip us stuff if we were nice to him. He's an asshole with a disgusting neck beard, but he's a 21-year-old asshole. So, you know, beggars can't be choosers, as Dad always says.
Are you being careful?
You mean, am I binge drinking every night?
Well,
don't you think you would have noticed? I'm not an alcoholic.
just be careful.
So you want a drink? Come on, let's toast.
No thanks.
All right, suit yourself. And Lena, stop snooping through my stuff.
How long have you been keeping these watercolors?
I've been stashing them away ever since Mom disappeared. You know how it was. She would leave them everywhere, so I just started picking them up. One from the living room, one from her bedside table, one from the volunteer desk at the park. They're really bad about locking that door, by the way.
I didn't realize you liked her paintings.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that I'm an art freak. More that I like touching this paper and knowing that she touched it, too. It reminds me of her. I know, that's sentimental of me.
Well...
Oh, shut up.
Why do you keep them out here? Doesn't the weather trash them?
I keep them in that hollow so they don't fall apart, but yes, a little bit. You can see where the water damage is. I actually prefer it that way, though. The environment is leaving its mark on her work. Complicating it. Deepening it, I think.
I wonder what Mom would think of her paintings ending up like this.
I feel like she preferred this way. It's not like she ever sold or displayed her work. That's not why she painted. So, which one is your favorite?
I like the coffee mug and flowers.
I thought you might. So, are you gonna give them back now, or what?
Yes, of course.
Thanks.
I'll talk to you later, okay?
If you keep going down the walkway, you'll get closer to Uncle Thomas's house. When Vi and I lived there this year, I would sneak down here sometimes. I've never really snuck out before, but sometimes I just wanted to pretend like none of this past year was happening.
Hey, Gus. Would you know anything about how to get into Dad's office?
No.
I'll talk to you in a little bit.
Merle, can I ask you a strange question? And can you not tell Dad that I asked you this?
Well, sure, I guess.
Do you have the lost key to get into Dad's office?
Why do you need that?
I'm trying to figure out why Dad has been acting so strangely.
Dad always acts strange.
Yeah, but I thought maybe looking around could help me understand why he's been so strange this past year in particular.
I guess that makes sense. But I don't get why you're always trying so hard to understand people. Alright, I have the key.
Wait, you really do? How did you even get the key?
Easy. I was up early on a Monday morning reading a book so I could fill in the reading journal that Miss Prescott makes us do.
Merle.
Sorry, I just forgotten to read for an hour that weekend, and we have to write down the exact time we started and stopped and what we read about, so I couldn't just make it up. Anyway, I saw Dad come out of his office to leave for work. He closed and locked the door and tried to put the key in his back pocket, but instead of staying there, it slipped down onto the floor. It didn't make any sounds because the carpet muffled it. So I went to go pick it up. Bet you're all surprised.
Why didn't you give it back?
Because then I wouldn't be able to explore. I wanted to look around some, duh.
Fair enough. So, can I have the key?
Yeah, sure. And you can keep it. I'm done playing spy. There's a knothole in one of the trees on the beach here. It's like the one that Scout and Jem find in To Kill a Mockingbird, which I actually liked reading. Gus let me take that book before he needed to finish it for school. Anyway, I like the idea of doing things Scout would have done, so I put the key in the knothole to see if it would mysteriously disappear. But I've been checking all the time. It's still there.
Thanks, Mo. Seriously.
You could give me an extra dessert after dinner tonight.
We'll see about that.
I'm going to go, okay? But I'll come talk to you again later. Taking random stuff out of tree knots. I guess this makes me Boo Radley. Well, sometimes I do feel like I'm living in a book. It's so messy. This smells like Chinese takeout. Look, there's even a fortune cookie slipped down in the cushion cracks. Never get involved in a land war in Asia? Receipts from the dry cleaners, a coupon to the barbers, a list of overdue library books. He's had the complete single mother checked out for 3 months? Maybe they didn't have the complete single father. I haven't been in here for so long that it just seemed like another place. Like stepping through the wardrobe into Narnia, but it's just a room. I knew he slept down here, but I didn't realize he had just the one blanket. It's so thin. There it is, another part of Dad's journal. Risperdal. I've never heard of that before. I wonder if Violet knows Dad is taking these. I have kind of a weird question. Have you ever heard of a drug called Risperdal?
Oh, so you took a look around the office. Read the journal he keeps on his desk. Pretty fucked up, right? I was waiting for you to do it.
Wait, you know about all this?
Of course. I've been picking the lock for months. There are YouTube videos on how to do it. All you need is a $15 lock picking set from Amazon.
So it was you who picked the lock on that science teacher workroom that one time?
Yeah, that was me. I needed the answers to Mr. Stevens' chemistry quiz he was giving the next day, but I still failed it.
Back to the whole Risperdal thing.
Yeah, it's for schizophrenia. I looked it up.
Wait. You mean Dad has...
Yep.
I always thought he was just strange. Peculiar. Are you sure he...
Yeah, I did a lot of research. The med is used to treat schizophrenia, mainly. Although it can also be used to treat bipolar disorder and irritability in people who have autism. Dad doesn't have autism, and I've never known him to have highs and lows like with bipolar disorder. But schizophrenia? That fits.
What is Risperdal, though? What does it do?
I don't know too much in the grand scheme of things. I'm no doctor, obviously, but I'll tell you what I'm sure of. Risperdal is an antipsychotic. That means it treats symptoms like hearing voices, delusions, hallucinations, scrambled speech. That kind of thing. All kinds of memories started seeming different when I was looking this stuff up. Like, remember when we were little? I was 5, maybe, and you were 6. And Dad wouldn't leave the house for a few days because he said everyone in town could hear his thoughts. That everyone would know what a terrible person he was. Mom finally took him to the doctor. She told us that Dad had a very bad fever and had hallucinated. That's called thought broadcasting, by the way. I read about it.
But what was in Dad's journal? He clearly still believes that. About Mom being some kind of supernatural creature? How could all 18 years of that be a delusion?
I don't know. It would be pretty abnormal from what I've read. Most delusions seem to last anywhere from a week to a year. 18 years. It would be weird. But how else do you explain this? You can't think that that's the truth.
His schizophrenia could have gotten better over the years. Maybe the Risperdal is new, and it helped him manage in ways other meds didn't.
Or maybe he's just been veering from one kind of a pill to another, and none of them have really worked. And he spent his entire life seeing a world that isn't even there.
It's really sad if you think about it. I just didn't realize how much help he needed. I guess none of us did.
So, what are you gonna do now that you know all this?
I'm going to make sure he gets on the right track. In terms of mental health, I mean.
You're a better person than I am. I just can't care that much. Not after everything else he's done. But before you do that, I want you to have this. It's the key to the chest in his closet. You know, the one where we used to try and pry it open when we played hide and seek. The one Dad got so mad about us touching that he'd put us in timeout every time he caught us in there.
I remember the one. It was behind that panel. We thought it was a secret hideout.
He dropped this key on the back porch a little more than a year ago. It took me a week to figure out what it went to. God, I was obsessed with finding out what it unlocked. Then I realized. When I looked, I found something in the chest. I showed it to Mom.
What did you find?
It was... You're not gonna believe me. Okay. It was a feather robe. Like the kind Dad described in his diary. Except I don't want you to take that as proof that it's true. It was just a robe. Beautiful, though. So intricate. I put it on before I showed it to Mom. I felt... Well, never mind.
Where is the robe now?
It's gone. Wherever Mom went, I think she took it with her.
How come you didn't tell me this before?
Honestly, I don't know. I could give you some "the time wasn't right" bullshit. I just didn't know how to say it. It was So strange, what I found.
I'm going to go take a look. Thank you, Vi. This is all a lot to take in, but I'm going to figure it out, I promise you.
I never doubted that for a second.
Oh, Lena.
I want to understand what I just saw. I want there to be a logical explanation that can make you look better than what this looks like.
I wish I could explain it.
But you can't, can you? I try so hard to let all your little quirks go because that's what I'm supposed to do, because they're what make you, you, my father. But this isn't a quirk. This is a delusion.
Wait, please. Don't come to premature conclusions. This isn't the way I intended you to find out.
Did you want to keep this a secret forever then?
Yes, but no, of course I wanted to tell you, but how could I possibly find the moment? I was so ashamed. Kind of shame, I mean, that crawls into all the pores of your skin. Does that feeling sound familiar to you?
No, I've never felt that way.
Good. I hope you never do. I wouldn't wish that kind of shame on any of my children. Will you at least tell me how you knew to look here?
Vi told me. She knew about the chest. She'd found it before Mom disappeared.
Your sister? So she knows that I... But how? I suppose it doesn't matter, does it? I'm beginning to get the feeling that the four of you understand more than I realized. You're very observant, all of you. I guess that should make me proud. I see you have my journal. Did you read it? All of it?
Yes, I did.
At least you're honest about it. I don't think I can fault you for reading it. I would have done the same thing.
I want you to tell me. Here, now, without thinking about it or rereading the diary, what happened?
You have a right to ask that. But if you're hoping I'm going to recant what I wrote in that diary, you're mistaken. I'm not sure how aware you are of the way I've struggled all my life with my mental health. You probably knew, or guessed, that I was different from other children's fathers, but I don't know if you realized how different. I know I don't talk about it much, because I didn't want you to realize that your father once heard and saw things he couldn't explain. That he would sometimes become convinced of things that couldn't be true. It's been a lifelong process, working with therapists and trying different combinations of medications to try and treat my delusions, but I swear, it's manageable now.
Whatever problems you had aren't important.
Maybe. Any problem that affects you is important. But I've tried so hard not to let that part of myself become the part you recognize. Lena, I want to ask you something now. I know we never talked about it. To be frank, I've never talked about it with any of you. But please tell me you believe I didn't harm your mother in any way.
Didn't harm her? No, you did, I think. You stole her robe. But I know you didn't kill her or anything.
I didn't mean that I never... All right. I understand your point.
I do think she's gone, though. I can't believe she was a swan maiden, Dad. I just can't.
What do you think, then?
Do you really want to hear it?
I would always be curious, otherwise.
I think she went to start a new life for herself somewhere else. A life separate from you and us.
Well, after all this, you have the entire story at your fingertips. It's your right to make a decision about what you think, even if it's one I know to be incorrect.
Yes, it is my right.
Then I suppose that now I can ask whether you'll ever forgive me for the way I've treated you and your siblings, for consistently hiding parts of my life from you and leaving the four of you alone so that I could retreat into my work, and ignoring you when you needed me most. I was trying to think of how to have that sort of discussion with you, but I was too much of a coward to do it. Now that you forced my hand... No, I shouldn't say it that way. What am I thinking?
Dad.
Now that everything else is out in the open, I'm telling you, I want to do better. And I'm hoping you can forget about all the mistakes I've made.
Yes. I forgive you.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, Lena. We got over it eventually, Lena and I. The diary, the chest, everything. Even though she said she forgave me, it wasn't until April that she really trusted me again. And I understand that. I do. That day in January when I saw her there in my room, I realized then how much I'd forced her to carry. After she graduated in June, she turned down her acceptance from the University of Chicago. I told her to think about it hard, but she just smiled gently and told me she wanted to stay closer to home anyway. She's taking classes at a community college now in psychology. She told me she wants to be a grief counselor someday. Wasn't what I'd envisioned for her, but I'm very proud. Back in January, she told me she thought her mother had left us. I argued with her then because I was lonely and I was tired. I try to remember the days when I met Vivian. They seem hazy, like a heat barrage. Whatever the case, I've realized since then that I was loved. To think of how I came to be loved is perhaps to miss the point. I don't know what happened to my wife. None of us do. And I don't think we ever will. But we've filled that emptiness with each other. Maybe, just maybe, that will be enough.